So not realizing what was happening, but just had lived through this crooked trial of 15 October, I hoped there were honest judges who wanted to listen. Graz, 21 October 2022, sent to the judge of 27 ST90/22S. Dear Judge, I am Lioris Christoph. I am currently incarcerated into the prison of Graz. I am in arrest since 29 September 2022. Till today, I am not allowed to talk to my defense lawyer, which is a serious violation of my rights. I wish to be allowed as soon as possible to talk and discuss about my case with my lawyer, by phone and in person. I announced that in my phone is a lot of critical evidence for my defense, and I insist that I am allowed to transfer a copy of this into my lawyer's info to my lawyer, so she can start with my defense. I have no problem that police would be present while I transfer a copy, to ensure I don't interfere with the investigation or try to delete something. My rights for a legal defense are really violated by the way this investigation is led, and I am not allowed to show evidence in my defense. I have pictures, videos, audio recordings, witnesses, messages, and police reports that contradict everything in the accusations. My side of the story is not heard, my evidence is not looked at even, and this I can only call unfair and unjust. I hope and beg that please I get a fair and honest chance to clear my name and prove my innocence. And for this I need to be allowed to show files from my phone to police and my lawyer. I hope to receive a positive answer and await answer. Thanks in advance for taking the time to read my letter and hope for a just decision. Best regards, Christoph Lioris. Now you can clearly hear that on 21 October I asked the judge to honestly look at the evidence at this case and make a just decision. Again, I was only interrogated by police on 9 November for some reason. They couldn't find a police officer to come interrogate and find out whether there was something true about my claims, although I was being kept in prison on allegations of a prostitute without any evidence, made together with an Albanian man which she claimed on 24 June was her pimp when she tried to indict him, to which I both had indictments for stalking and threatening me exactly with this happening a month before. Also that these people were involved in a big sex trafficking network through Austrian brothels where Eastern European girls were smuggled through for sex parties and extortion. I just wanted to be left alone out of this scandal and return to my family. And I think you can clearly hear that the judge didn't do her job correctly. She's either very incompetent or crooked. Let's continue with another letter to the judges of case 27 ST90/22S, this one from 31 October 2022, where the judges still claim that they didn't know nothing was wrong with my incarceration and that I was innocently in prison, apparently. Dear Judge and Court, I am Lioris Christoph, imprisoned in the prison of Gracia Comini, prison number 184249, in case 22 HR 163/22Z. I have always said that I am innocent of these charges made by my ex-girlfriend. I voluntarily agreed to be extradited to Austria to come and clear my name of the 3 points where I am accused of here in Austria and prove my innocence. A few days before the European arrest warrant was signed that ruined my life, I myself tried to contact Austrian authorities to come and clear my name. They told me this was not necessary, and if it was something, I would hear it. I was brutally arrested a week later and imprisoned since 29 September 2022. First, 3 weeks in very bad prisons in Hungary, where I was even abused by the staff. I was for a month not allowed to talk to a lawyer or even my family. My first hearing in Austria, I told I had evidence to prove my innocence: documents, pictures, messages, witnesses, audio recordings. I was not allowed to show it, and the judge refused even to note it. In the folders that I got is mentioned that my detention would last till I can prove that I am innocent. I don't feel that I am given this chance. Today, my second hearing, there is even more evidence of my innocence, and the judge didn't even have time to look at it, and the decision was already made to keep me again a month extra in detention, which my opinion is not really fair, that the court cannot find time to look at the evidence that proves I am innocent. I please ask the court to look at the evidence, and I ask my release, because I am innocent. There are now 4 different declarations made by MB, my ex-girlfriend, and the victim, where she admits that the accusations are false and lies. Number 1. Declaration on Facebook, where MB says the accusations are false and she regrets making them. Number 2. Messages that MB sent to my mother, where she declares the accusations are false. Number 3. A written declaration by MB, where she declares the accusations are false. So this declaration was sent to the judges before the trial happened in 15 October, and still they were claiming I was guilty, by the way. Recordings where MB declares they are false and lied in conversations. Now, these recordings I am now being sued about by Klagenfurt, again referring a judge letter while I was incarcerated on 31 October 2022. My lawyer tried to hand them over to court today, and she got as answer that the court didn't have time today to look at them. Then what is the point of the court? This means the decision to keep me in detention was already made, whether I am innocent or not. And this is the second time the court refuses to look at my evidence. I beg the court to look at the evidence that my lawyer will send to you as soon as possible. I am innocent and in prison because me and my girlfriend had a discussion over our cat, after I broke off our relationship in July 2022 and refused to give it to her. She got angry that she made false accusations against me in Hungary, and later even more bad accusations in Austria. The accusations in Hungary were immediately proven false, and I made accusations against her for stalking and threatening me in Hungary and Austria. 2 days later, when she heard about this, she made false accusations in Austria about rape and threatening. I was maybe not an angel, and said maybe hurtful things in discussions, but I never threatened her, used violence against her, or certainly never raped her. All the sex we had, how kinky also it was voluntary by us both, and the SM, vibrators and hand were even her fantasies. She was a fan of 50 Shades of Grey and wanted to try this with me. And we didn't do this often, but she asked me all this, and she asked me to buy the SM toys and vibrators. I can prove this all with chats and messages, videos and witnesses. We even had a safe word, Micah, the name of the dog, that if either of us didn't like something, we would stop or change. But this is not even a point, and didn't even happen in Austria, but Hungary, and was voluntary during our relationship. The point is, my ex-girlfriend got furious after our breakup and that I chose and refused to give our cat. She got so angry she made false accusations against me for rape and threatening, and she says this all in a conversation that is recorded as police evidence for the Palmenhaus investigation. I never was violent, beaten or threatened my girlfriend. She was violent to me and I can also prove this. I am not angry with her. I know she had a very sad and bad life and unfortunately a very bad family. I heard horror stories of her that would make you cry. How bad her life was growing up. Fortunately, left is her traumas and scars that sometimes when she gets angry she doesn't know what she does or thinks about the consequences. She is not a bad person. She was just surrounded by very bad people and family. She never learned what love is or a normal relationship. She needs help to take her life into her hands and make something of it. I thought I could do this, but unfortunately I couldn't. And often I told her that she should find a therapist to talk to.
These criminals that are in control of our country operate on the philosophy that secret knowledge equals power. Many government secrets and personal...
I hope the court can see this and understand this and hopefully help her to get the help and not punish her. Like I said, she's not a bad person, but unfortunately traumatized and had a very bad life. All I want is justice and to be cleared of these accusations. My lawyer and my sister, who is also a lawyer and works for NATO, are working very hard to help me. But I also need the court to please look at the evidence and make hopefully and quickly a just decision. I am a father of 3 wonderful children that I really want to see again and that I miss. I even missed my small daughter and son, their birthdays because of this situation. I just want to go to my family and clear my name and forget the last month of my life. I also hope that you have mercy for my ex-girlfriend. She needs support and she needs help and maybe a therapist. That she can work on her traumas and make something of her life. She is really not a bad person and has a lot of potential. And I beg the court to hear this and a just decision because, like I said, I am innocent in prison. Thanks for taking the time to read my letter and I hope for a just decision. Lioris Christoph. So again, you have clear evidence that the judge is explained that something is not right with this situation, in which the judge for some reason clearly denies and still 9 days waits with interrogating me by police and looking at evidence, after which he still keeps me now knowingly innocent in prison without any justification why I was kept in prison, and clearly pointing out that this was being done on purpose. Because if the judge didn't release me on 31 October, she ignored this letter, and then only on 9 November I was interrogated, which again proved my innocence, then why was I kept after 9 November in prison? There was not one excuse more the judges could use at that time. And all the other ones clearly pointed out to malicious intervention. And let's do another letter to the judges who didn't know that I was innocently in prison. This time a letter from 11 November 2022 written in the Graz Jacomini prison by me to the judges of case 22 HR 163/22Z. I am Lioris Christoph, a Belgian national, innocent in prison since 29 September 2022. I beg again the court to look at the case and the evidence, and please to let me free. I am in prison because of my ex-girlfriend made accusations against me that were lied because of a discussion over our pet cat. After our breakup of July 2022, there was never any rape, threatening, or preventing her to go to Austria, like described in point 1 of the accusations. The events that are described in part 2 and 3 of the accusations also never happened, and even the times of the described events I never was in Austria. On top of the evidence sent to you by my lawyers and police, the victim herself made already in several ways clear that her accusations were false. We had just a discussion over our cat, and in a flare of anger she made a mistake and made these accusations. She tried several times already to take them back, even from before my arrest. In September, she came to me insisting to make up our relationship. We made up and were back together. She told me about these false accusations that she made. She was scared about and what would happen when the court was going to find out that she lied. And seeing how things work here, I can't blame her. She made a mistake, but we was long time before the situation so dramatically escalated, trying to clear things out with the Austrian authorities and trying to explain our situation, with this meaning the Palmenhaus investigation, where she wanted to become state witness, to Austrian authorities. MB is not a bad person, only sometimes she has panic and anger attacks, that she does things not thinking of the consequences. She mentions also our cat in both complaints. Her both complaints are contradictual and describing events that never happened. Also, there is no proof. The sex that we had was completely voluntary for both. This you can read in our messages and see also in the pictures that contradict totally the statements in her declarations. You can also look to her declaration of 20 August 2022 that then again contradicts the two later declarations where she starts to accuse me of rape. In this declaration she admits stalking me and threatening me and my children. Another example of her anger attacks. There were also accusations from me made before her accusations for stalking and threatening, with a lot of evidence, to which she answered in her declaration of 24 September 2022, mentioned above. My first hearing, I was not allowed to talk. My words were turned around and I was refused to show evidence of my innocence. For this I am also refused to sign it. My second hearing was a decision already made to keep me in prison before I entered the court, and the evidence my lawyer tried to hand of proving my innocence couldn't be found time to look at it during my hearing. I was arrested for urgent questioning. I was left almost 3 weeks in horrible prisons in Hungary and was there even physically and mentally abused by the staff. The judge in Budapest told me at my hearing there I would be free in an hour if Austria, with the evidence that I had. For the urgent questionings couldn't even be found time for my hearings. There couldn't even be found time to let me speak to a lawyer until 31 October 2022. And my first police interrogation was until 9 November 2022. This is urgent here? All this time I was kept in detention, innocent? I cannot see a judge in another country issuing a European arrest warrant based on these accusations made by my ex-girlfriend without any proof to back them up. Knowing which extra information and evidence was at hand for Austrian authorities, I am sure no other judge would issue such a warrant. Maybe friendly invite me for an interrogation voluntary, as I also tried at first. Now seeing all extra evidence that is given to prove my innocence, pictures, videos, witnesses, documents, declarations of my ex-girlfriend that she lied everything, and the recording of our conversation in September 2022, where she also admits everything was lied and false that I gave on police on 9 November 2022. I am sure that no judge would keep me normally any longer in detention. I ask again, please to look at my case and the evidence and make please an end of this detention that is clearly keeping me innocent in prison, keeping me in prison with all this evidence till my ex-girlfriend personally comes to declare that she lied and risks severe punishment for a mistake she made in anger is inhumane and injustice. This is keeping me hostage and torturing her. This detention is already criminally violating my rights and my human rights. Please end this injustice. I am innocently in prison since 29 September 2022. Sincerely, Lioris Christoph. 184249MZ1722HR 163/22Z. Now, I think I can clearly prove that I was questioning this arrest warrant already from during my detention. But strangely, it's still not under investigation. And whatever these judges did, clearly crimes already spoken out to while they were keeping me illegally in prison. And still is Austria refusing to investigate this and indicting me because I published a censored recording proving my claims again true and proving the serious corruption with NGOs, illegal funding and illegal suing people to silence them. Now, are we going to discuss this all publicly? To you guys is the choice, of course. I will continue to publish the evidence so you all can go investigate it. And again, I clearly demand that this case, where is clearly serious government corruption in the Austrian Justice Department, is led by the European Court of Human Rights, or I will be forced to publicly publish everything for my safety, which I will do in a very detailed documentary for InfoWars.